Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. And I read a lot of books on BorrowBox, which is an app which is connected to my local library. Not sponsored in any way, nobody knows who I am, but I'm just being upfront about where I read everything. Today's book is The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. Tagline is, "We all have stories we never tell." This was very interesting. Didn't go at all where I thought it was going to go. But I'll come to that once I've read you the blurb. Before Owen Michaels disappears, he manages to smuggle a note to his new wife Hannah. Protect her. Hannah knows exactly who Owen needs her to protect. His 16-year-old daughter Bailey, who lost her mother tragically as a child, and who wants absolutely nothing to do with her new stepmother. As her increasingly desperate calls to Owen go unanswered, his boss is arrested for fraud, and the police start questioning her. Hannah realises that her husband isn't who he said he was, and that Bailey might hold the key to discovering Owen's true identity and why he disappeared. Together they set out to discover the truth, but as they start putting together the pieces of Owen's past, they soon realise that their lives will never be the same again. So yeah. So you meet Hannah, and in the first chapter, a little girl from Bailey's school turns up on Hannah's doorstep with a note for her, and it just says, like, "Mrs. Michaels?" She's like, "Yeah." Like, "Mr. Michaels asked me to give you this." And she gets the note, and as it says in the blurb, it just says "protect her." And that's the start of everything going wrong, basically. So Hannah is there trying to figure out why everything is happening. Like, why is he gone? Where has he gone? Why does she need to protect Bailey? What is she protecting Bailey from? It later then comes out that Owen was at the school popping a very large duffel bag of money into his daughter's locker, which Bailey finds. And that's when you realise, oh, that must have been when he passed the note on to the schoolgirl, who then showed up on Hannah's doorstep. From there, you then find out about the shop, which is where Owen works, and you realise that his boss has just been done for fraud. It becomes a big news item in this world that the shop it's like a technology coding type thing. They've got a new product which isn't ready, but they've been selling anyway, and thinking, oh, but by the time this thing is working, it'll all be fine. But they never got to that point. They were done for fraud before the product could be ready, because they were selling an idea of a product rather than the actual product. And through that, you then realise that this has all coincided with Owen leaving the note, saying protect her, and running away. And you're just there going, oh, has he done something naughty? Is he on the run because of something that he's done within the company? Which is where I generally thought it was going to go. I was thinking that as everything came out, it was then to end up coming out that he was maybe part of the source of it. Maybe he put the idea in people's heads or something, I don't know. But I thought it was going to be to do with the shop. Then you realise, as you go on even further, that it was just a catalyst. It wasn't the actual thing. It was just the thing that happened that scared the bejesus out of Owen. And you realise that actually, because you're just thinking, well, if he really does love his daughter that much and he wants to protect her, why doesn't he just own up to everything? Why doesn't he just surrender and go to the police and give them all the information? And then you realise, oh wait, everybody who has been talked about is ending up in the news. You see their pictures, you see their names, and that's the point when you find out that Owen isn't actually his name. You realise that everything kind of prior to Hannah coming into their lives, there is no sign of his life prior to that. And it ends up on a bit of a goose chase, really, of Hannah and Bailey crossing the country. This is in America, by the way. Crossing the country to actually find out who Owen actually is and was. And they're using information that, because you always say, you never really know a person. You never really know a person. But in this case there were truths to some of the lies, and so she uses the truth that she learned throughout their time together. Things like, oh, that favourite teacher that you talked about at university. You know, those things that just can't be made up. And yeah, she uses that information to track down the actual university he went to. She finds the teacher that he's always talked about being like the inspiration for him. And through that you are led to what is essentially a family saga with Owen's real life family. But the journey that you're taken on with the characters from the note being dropped off on Hannah's doorstep to where it ends up, it is a ride. It is a ride, I tell you that. And I was always kind of second guessing myself as I went through the story. So I was just like, oh, okay, so it's going to lead up here. And then there was a twist, and then you come up and you're just like, I don't trust where this is going anymore. Because every single time you think that you're on the right path, another thought comes in. So, yeah, it was just such a good book. It was so clever. And obviously, because you're looking at the relationship between Hannah and Bailey as well, because from the off, you're very aware that Bailey and Hannah do not have the best mother-daughter relationship. And in this case, stepmother-daughter relationship. Hannah has always gone in to the relationship with Owen and Hannah saying, I'm not here to disrupt Bailey's life. I am here because I fall in love with her father and I need to integrate into her world rather than forcing the daughter to integrate into mine. And through that, you've realised that Hannah is not an unreliable narrator in any way. You realise that she genuinely has love for the family that she's entered into. She doesn't want to disrespect Bailey's real mother. She's there in the most loving terms. You've got the mystery there of figuring out where this is all going. And the title is just, yeah. It's in that first chapter. The last thing he told her was the note saying, protect her. And everything that she does throughout the book, it always comes back to Bailey. Everything that she does, even at the end, when, you know, she's figured everything out and she knows what she needs to do, and she's there going, no, this isn't about Owen. This is about Bailey. And so everything I do leading up to wherever this ends up, Bailey always has to come first. That is ultimately how it ends. I'm missing out such a huge plot point, but I just can't tell you about it, because it would just completely spoil the reading experience if I told you what comes out. Ultimately, you are looking at Owen's past life before meeting Hannah, and you find out about the lies he told, what he's been doing to protect his daughter all the way through, and yeah, both of them, it always comes back to the daughter. It always comes back to Bailey. It all comes back to that note that he left at the beginning. And it's just such a powerful journey that they go on together. And the relationship, how it's built up, the more time that they spend together on this journey. So you've got that kind of mystery to it. And then you've also got this relationship story between daughter and stepmother. So it's kind of heartwarming in a way as that relationship builds. But then you're also going, what the hell is going on? Where the hell is Owen? Why did he leave? Especially when you realise that the reason he left wasn't entirely to do with the shop going under. It's just a case of what happened at the shop just starts like a tidal wave of everything else. Like, it could have been anything that put his name and face out there, but it's just one of those things where it could have been anything, but the shop went under, and that's what thrust him out there. And yeah, it was just so good. And you know, I haven't read like a mystery like this in a while. I usually go towards like murder mysteries, detective type stuff. I mean, I'm even reading a book which is about a murder mystery, you know, which is in my bag, and I'm looking at it right now because it's in my bag with my bag open. But yeah, that's the last thing he told me, my Laura Dave. So that's the front cover of the book. Yeah, it's 230 pages. It felt longer because I was reading it on my phone for quite a lot of it, so it felt like it was 500 pages, but it's only because I was reading it on like a really, really small screen. And it's in crime and thriller, target audience adult. Oh, even some of the quotes from like people and like the reviews, it says perfect for TV adaptation. Definitely. I can totally imagine this as like a TV movie, basically. I feel like it's got enough there to be... I think there's enough there for it to be like a mini-series, actually. Because you're getting the flashbacks from the relationship between Owen and Hannah and how they met. And you're getting the stories from their past, which kind of gives you an idea of the type of person he is. And kind of the stories which make up him. Not as Owen, just as like the person that he actually is, as opposed to the lies that have been fed to the family for so long. That the main reason that this happens is because of what happens at the shop, but also the fact that Bailey doesn't remember anything from before her mother passed away. And that is ultimately what allows the story to go ahead, because you see Bailey getting little tiny flashback memories as to what's happened. And her getting her memories back helps them as they do kind of go on the journey, and they go to Texas and they find out, and she's there going, hang on a second, I remember being here, or hang on a second, I remember this, and it just helps them to kind of like fill in the blanks. Can you tell I enjoy this? But yeah, 230 pages, it's not that long, and it's very, very fast paced. As I said, in the first chapter, straight away you're getting that information that he's gone missing, and then it's not a slow drip, it's like drip, drip, drip. It's just like there's a constant dripping of information as you find out, like, who's this, who's that, what's going on, why did he disappear, just everything. It was really good. I've never read anything by Laura Dave before. I'm definitely intrigued by other stories just because I love the way that this was written. But yeah, The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. Good mystery. Not a murder mystery, just mystery. Got a bit of a detective type thing going on because Hannah is interviewed by different authorities about the disappearance of her husband, and she doesn't know who to trust, so you've got that side of it as well. But yeah, brilliant book. You can be constantly guessing throughout this book, and just when you think you're on the right path, you realise, oh no, there's another fork there, and I don't know which way it's going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I've no idea what next book is going to be, because I'm reading like 3 books at the same time at the moment. Or technically 4. I don't know how I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm reading 4 books at the moment. I've got an audio book, then I've got 2 books that I'm reading because I'm coming to the end of my borrowing limit with them. And then I've also got the book in my bag. So I think the book in my bag is going to go on the back burner for a minute while I listen to the audio book. I've got about 20 days into the audio book, and so I think if I just listen to it like at night and things and when I'm getting ready, I should get through that fairly quickly. But then I've also got The Testament by Margaret Atwood that I've just started, and oh, it's like the backstory of Lydia in there, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. I know that they have kind of looked at the backstory of Lydia in the TV series, but I know it's not going to be exactly the same as the books, because you know, it's just one of those things where you know that it's not going to have the same trajectory as the book towards the series. You know, it's kind of like when they did Game of Thrones. There was a point when they just were completely ahead of the books. You know, there were no more books to draw information from, so they just kind of made it up as they went along. And I do wonder if there's been a bit of that in The Handmaid's Tale, even though the author was involved in the series. But anyway, I'm babbling. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week with another video. Hope everybody's staying safe, lovelies. Bye.